He is Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite. He has become that. He is the king slayer of Patrick Mahomes.
He's a Super Bowl champ. He's a Super Bowl MVP. So, like, he's the best quarterback in the league.
Bro, honestly, just Patrick Mahomes was not able to move the ball. And this is why he's a stats guy.
AJ, I've been trying to deal with Fletch for 15 years now. I hate him.
You don't hate me. Stop. Only on game day.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the first episode outside of football season. We're going to be recapping the biggest game of the year, what everything leads up into. This is what this entire show leaded up to. Until next time. But, as always, I'm AJ Greene. Got my guy Justin Pugh. He's in the stew. And we got a great show for y'all, man. We got a great guest for y'all. Got a lot to talk about between the game, Mahomes, legacy, Kendrick, Drake, everybody.
We got it all on the show today, but I do got to give you some props, AJ. I just moved, and the kids on the block, I told them that I do a podcast with you, and they're like, AJ Greene?
With the E?
The GLD. And I said, yeah, you know AJ Greene. And my brother-in-law is with me. He's like, oh, yeah, you play with AJ in Arizona. I said, no, AJ Greene with the extra E,
With the
extra personality.
E, the extra personality. Yes, set him straight, Pew. Set him straight, Pew.
And the kids went nuts. So I need you to come down to the new crib and kind of win me some brownie points in the neighborhood. How are we feeling right now? We both were at Super Bowl. We both were grinding. You were doing stuff nonstop, 6 days in a row.
Yeah, something like that. But it don't matter, bro. What we predicted a couple weeks ago versus what we predicted right before the game, two totally different predictions. But I tell you, we both nailed our Super Bowl prediction. Except, I don't know about your envelope, but mine, I could have ripped that one up a couple days ago. No, I could have ripped that one up a couple weeks ago.
So this is what we got to do, right? We had mentioned earlier in the program we had our pre-playoff predictions sitting at our desks. You have yours?
Yeah.
You said yours could be ripped up. So you said yours could be ripped up. So show yours on camera first, who you have on that one.
All right.
And then I'll show mine.
I had the Lions and the Ravens, with the Lions winning it all in the big game. Yeah, that didn't work out at all.
Lions-Ravens was a great pick.
I don't know. I just thought they were both hitting stride at the perfect time. And yeah.
I got Chiefs-Eagles winning.
And this is why he's a stats guy.
I had Eagles winning 27-21. I picked the Eagles before the season even started. I just thought Saquon was going to make the difference. I really just thought Saquon was going to make the difference. I didn't think the Chiefs were going to look as bad as they did at points this year. I just thought with Patrick Mahomes, you always got a chance. So how could you ever go against Mahomes? And nobody has slowed down the Eagles this year. And nobody did, because that was the worst beatdown in Super Bowl history, I think. I think there was a bigger score differentiator. I think the 1990 or somewhere in that range. Yeah. Somebody beat somebody by 34 points, and the Chiefs scored some meaningless touchdowns late, but that had to be the biggest beatdown in the biggest game that I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. But that final score was 40-6. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about them last minute tutties, but that final score was 40-6. Honestly, you might argue the final score was 34-0, but no, that was definitely nasty work. But we both said that though on last week's show. We both said that the Eagles gonna win this game, and we both said if it gets close, but I knew it was not gonna be close. I specifically remember saying to you, to everybody, to every interview I did on Radio Row, every interview I did that entire week, I said, yo, there's going to be a point in this game where you realize the Eagles are just not to be messed with right now. And just that point came a lot earlier than I think anyone expected it to. Nothing was working. O-line wasn't working. Refs weren't working. I don't even think the halftime show worked. I ain't like it. I'm going to just go ahead and get that one out the way. I didn't like it.
We'll come back. We'll come back to that one. The refs not working. You're ridiculous. But now at least we can put to bed that the refs aren't out here trying to, let the Chiefs win. If you let the Chiefs hang around, they're going to make a play. That's kind of what I've realized. The Eagles didn't even let them hang around at all.
This is very true, but if you still want to stay on that conspiracy path, I think they was getting tired of getting caught up. You know, they came into a committee and said, "Look, now, y'all blew it. Now we got to make a statement on a bigger stage. You know, we got to reset the record so that next year we can start up our marker."
What was the most surprising part of the game?
The most surprising part of the game itself, bro. Honestly, just Patrick Mahomes was not able to move the ball. That's what it comes down to. The Chiefs were not able to move the ball, and then when they were able to move the ball, the refs. I don't know, bro. The refs was opposite day for them. They was calling everything back. I wasn't ready for that. I just would not. I was not expecting the I was not expecting the Eagles defense to come out and really put the straps on them like that.
I was nervous about this Chiefs offensive line. I've been telling you about this since the beginning of the season. The Chiefs did not have a legitimate left tackle, and they kept throwing Joe Thuney out there. I kept singing his praises because he was going out there doing the Lord's work. But when it came to the biggest game on the biggest stage, the Chiefs had their errors, and it showed. It shined through tremendously. The Eagles defense might have put on the most dominating performance of the entire, maybe of any Super Bowl, how well that defense played. How about our boy Cooper DeJean, pick six?
Yes, man. I seen someone's parlay. They put 1,000 on him anytime touchdown. He won 41K. I don't think I would have ever
Jeez.
put that bet in. Oh, I'll tell you something else. Heads or tails? Tails got it. Guess the Gatorade dump?
Tails never
Guess
fails.
the Gatorade dump? Yellow got it. Tell you, bro, who was booming out there?
Well, it's not booming if you had Jahan Dotson to score the first touchdown of the game because they called it in and they're like, oh no, he's this short. And then Jalen Hurts took it.
You should have seen me up in the stands because I had Jalen Hurts for a first time. You should have seen me in the stands. Everybody's celebrating. I'm sitting there like, no. And it was just funny because they're all looking at me because I had a green jersey. Everyone's looking at me like, and I was just sitting there in silence, and then they reviewed it and called it back. I was so happy.
Hey,
And
man.
I seen them come out in that big old power formation. I was like, yes, baby. Jump. Just
All right,
jump.
you knew it was time. You knew it was time.
As soon as they
The
came
other
out,
thing
everybody.
that really impressed me, I should say, and this is the one thing about Kansas City that impressed me, they did stop Saquon Barkley. They slowed down Saquon. He had one 10-yard run, I think, was the only time he really popped. It was the Jalen Hurts show.
I love that you corrected that. They didn't stop Saquon. They slowed him down. There was some flashes in there, and every time I thought he was going to get up out of there. But he still did enough. He catch that wheel down the sideline in the red zone to get the Eagles at the front door. He's still giving them a run game option. He's still giving the linebackers that potential. He's still making the linebackers slow their feet down and come fire off the ball. They didn't stop him. They slowed him down.
No, and that's what I try to say. Like the Chiefs made it a goal to force Jalen Hurts to beat them, and Hurts beat them, right?
He
Like
did,
it was
yeah.
like we are not going to let Saquon go for 200 yards, and they did a good job of that. But you could just tell the Chiefs every single time there was an opportunity for a big play, the Eagles made the big play. I think about. There was a conversion where they flushed out Mahomes to the right. He threw it to D-Hop wide open, just missed the throw. A couple Travis Kelce third down conversions. The throw wasn't great because Mahomes was under distress the entire time. This does a little bit remind you of that Tampa Bay Bucks Kansas City Chiefs loss way back when, where Patrick Mahomes showed that he can't be Superman all by himself all the time. I think if you're the Chiefs, you're right now sitting there like, we need to go get probably 2 tackles in free agency. AJ, is there a better birthday present for Cooper DeJean and Saquon Barkley than getting that win? All time.
No. I was gonna say a Saquon touchdown would have been great, but I doubt he even cares. I really doubt he cares about that touchdown. That's definitely something you would want to do. What about Devontae Smith? They said that he lost his high school state championship in that exact same stadium. Now, a couple years down the road, boom, he go out there and win a tutty and score in the same end zone. That's got to be a great full circle.
I mean, the birthday is one thing. That's amazing. I mean, you get a pick 6 on your birthday in the Super Bowl. You win as Saquon Barkley, and he had dominated every game all season. So just to get the win, he probably didn't care. Yeah,
He
but
definitely
seeing
can.
Smitty go over the top, like you thought they were going to just run the ball, hand it off, and Jalen Hurts drops a dime to Devontae Smith in the back of the end zone. I didn't know he
Who
lost.
who thought that? I knew Smitty was gonna go off. Look, you the stats guy. Every time the Eagles play the Chiefs, Devontae Smith goes stupid. Go ahead and look up his stat sheet.
No, I'm
He
saying
goes
at that
dumb
point
every
in the
time they play the
game,
Chiefs.
though, at that point in the game, it's like milk the clock. And they said, you know what? Let's take this deep shot right now. They run play action pass. And Jalen Hurts, I mean, that was the prettiest ball thrown of the night. That was the best pass of the night. Dropped it into a bucket. And I didn't know that Devontae Smith lost his high school championship there.
Yeah, he lost his high school state championship right there in that stadium.
Well, I mean, he played great. AJ Brown came up big. Hey, first off, the first PI of the game was not PI, right?
Who you telling? You telling a wide receiver? I was up in the stands, couldn't believe it. I almost pulled my do rag off. I was tight.
That's how you know things are getting serious
Yeah,
up
that's
there
how you
for
know it's
AJ
getting
right now.
serious. Yes, that's exactly how you know it's getting serious. My whole priorities change.
He pulled inner excellence out of his pocket and started reading it on the sidelines. He started yelling at Nick Sirianni on this. Like, I don't know if it was yelling, but it seemed like AJ Brown did the entire arc of the game. Like he was arguing with Nick, which it seems like they do every week. He's reading inner excellence. He's scoring touchdowns. He's dumping the Gatorade on the coach at the end of the game. I feel like AJ Brown had every experience under the sun in one game.
See, that's what's funny about it. We have absolutely no idea what they're down there saying, and when he's talking, he just looks so mad. But then, like, he's still walking. I don't know, man. I never know because people next to me are like, "Oh, what's he whining about?" I look at the jumbotron. I'm like, "That does not look like whining to me." But yeah, I don't know.
But the one dude that I mean, obviously, I'm probably the most happy for Saquon Barkley, obviously getting the ring. But Jalen Hurts, man, he's received so much like, oh, he's just a product of the talent around him. Oh, he's just being carried by the great team. What's wrong with having talent around you? What's wrong with having good teammates? What's wrong with being the best team in football? What's wrong with winning every single game? He is Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite. He has become that. He is the king slayer of Patrick Mahomes. And man, he always says the right things. He always he doesn't say a lot. He definitely you see him, he pauses and then he always gives like these profound like
Yeah,
statements.
bro. That boy is Chat GBT, man.
Yeah,
I
he is
swear.
Chat GPT.
Every time
He
you ask him a
is.
question, his Chat GBT is pending. I swear.
Now the last person I want to talk about who balled out on the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy. I mean, Xavier Worthy went for 150 and 2 touchdowns.
He did
That was a
drag it.
statement game, which probably leads me into my next point. Where do the Chiefs go from here? Is the dynasty done? They're talking about Kelsey retiring. Chris Jones is like neck's all messed up on the sidelines.
No, the dynasty's not done. No, as long as Patrick Mahomes is still young and healthy, Andy Reid wants to keep going, keep building. Xavier Worthy is only a rookie, so you know you're gonna have him for a little more time. And then the Chiefs wide receiver room, honestly, is pretty good, bro. If you really look at, they got a good wide receiver room. I don't know how many of those guys are signed to a 1 year deal or a couple year deals, but there's enough out there to shop. Especially if Kelsey leaves, there's a lot of other good tight ends out there that aren't in the best situations. You can go kidnap one of them. I'm sure they're gonna be one Kyle Pitts head down in Atlanta real soon. That you might be able to see them go take him and use him
Whoa.
better. They might be able to use him. He might be their next Saquon. They go take him out of Atlanta. Next, he get up there and they're like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "Yo, I've been able to do this." Even young buddy Brock Bowers, where's he at? Vegas? Yeah,
Brock Bowers is not leaving.
he's in Vegas, right?
Yeah, but he's not going to Kansas City.
Why he not?
In division, you just had the best rookie year for a tight end ever. There ain't no way.
And exactly what'd your team do? Had the best rookie year and it didn't even matter. he might be want that ring and want to make a real difference rather than continuing to rack up Pro Bowls.
I'm not co-signing that one. Kyle Pitts might make some more
man.
sense, but did you see Michael Penix Jr. was feeding him the rock and he was making plays down the stretch? I don't see that happening. I think
Who knows?
maybe
I'm not saying it will. If Kelsey decides to move on and do other things with his career, if he decides to join his brother Jason and pursue other career paths, there's a bunch of other young tight ends out there that can make a difference and come in there and fill that role.
even if Kelsey plays another year, which I think he does, I still think you maybe start looking for the heir apparent.
Run the Packers play. Go get the backup. Let him sit behind your starter now. So when he goes out, he can pass the torch and you can keep it rolling seamlessly.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think the Chiefs are not done. As long as you have Patrick Mahomes, you have it. The Chiefs are going to lose some people in free agency. We know that's going to happen. It's a business. But as long as you got 15, you got a chance.
I've been seeing a lot of the GOAT debates, the whole Brady, Mahomes, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. Everyone talks about Andy Reid era, how he left the Eagles and came over to Kansas City and they was out there doing that thing. How do you feel about Sirianni and how they was able to combat that and coach each other?
You have to give such a hats off to, and it even starts at the GM level. Howie Roseman, how the Eagles go out there and draft, evaluate talent, pay their players. They pay all their guys early. And then Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore coming in this year, replacing both of the coordinators that flopped last year. You have to give a ton of credit to Nick Sirianni. Again, he's a guy who caught a lot of slack, just like Jalen Hurts did. I was one of the guys, I'm like, Nick, stop screaming at the fans mid-game. You have one of the most talented rosters in football. Like, we don't need to be doing all this extra. And then Big Dom got more FaceTime than anybody in the game. I was watching at home. I don't think Andy Reid and that staff got out coached. I think Nick Sirianni did what he did all year. He just handled business. Vic Fangio didn't blitz one time the entire game. It's like one of the first times in Super Bowl history. He sent 4 rushers the entire game. I really just think the Eagles have more talent everywhere, and it showed through. I think, I'm not going to say I could have gone out there and coached these guys, but the Eagles were destined for this one. I think Jalen Hurts said to Chris Long at one point, hey, after the NFC Championship, Chris Long goes up to him and goes, hey, Jalen, one more game, man. It's going to be great. You're going to go out there and get it. And Jalen just stopped him, did his pause, and goes, it's been written. Like, they already knew that this game was going to happen. This was going to happen. They were going to win this game. They were the team of destiny. So I don't want to diminish how great Andy Reid is. I really just think this Eagles team was the best team all season long. Besides, I should say after week 6 on, they were the best ever since Cooper DeJean came on our show and then ended up starting the next week, him and Quinyon Mitchell. That is when the Eagles took off. That D-line was amazing. That's probably the flowers I have to give is to the Eagles D-line because they were fantastic.
And it's even crazy that you said they only rushed 4 the entire game and all 4 of them got it done. I thought they was blitzing. I thought they was sending the crib the way they was getting back there. I had no idea that was just the big boys doing big boy stuff.
Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, who no one's talking about, he's about to get paid this offseason. He just made himself FU money. Jalen Carter did Jalen Carter things. He always makes me nervous, though. I always think Jalen Carter is about to get a 15-yard penalty. And then Nolan Smith, who they tried to write him off. Like, he was out of town. They were like, I played against him last year. I played against all these guys last year. And they were trying to say Nolan Smith is too small. He can't do it. He ends up jumping Bryce Huff. The Eagles had a guy that makes $17 million a year, and they didn't even activate him. And then one of my favorite guys to go against of all time, Brandon Graham, coming back off a torn tricep or bicep or something. He came back and played with one arm, and he goes out on top with 2 Super Bowls. He's probably done. He's got more gray in his beard than maybe most of the coaches at this point.
Speaking of the Eagles D-line, I know you said the biggest flowers you got to give is to the Eagles D-line. I'm pretty sure today's guest is going to come out with even bigger flowers to give out. You're going to come out with the whole Valentine's Day special for the Eagles D-line. Welcome to today's guest. We got Fletcher Cox.
AJ mentioned it. We have Eagles legend, Eagles great, a guy that caused many of sleepless nights for offensive linemen, including myself, had to go against him for over a decade. We have Fletcher Cox on the show today. Fletch, what up, man?
Yo, what's up, man? What's going on with y'all? Thanks for having me.
I know you're happy. I see you smiling ear to ear. It's been a good time to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I mean, the last 10 years have been a good time to be a Philadelphia Eagle.
Oh, absolutely.
Were you down in New Orleans?
Yeah, I went down Friday. I did some. I got some appearances on Friday. Just kind of, honestly, just like enjoyed being like almost a fan of it. I was there Friday, Saturday, left early Sunday morning to get back home so I can watch the game, which was great watching from the couch. No, usually I don't get like jammed up into watching like football on TV. That's kind of been like one of my things. But obviously the Birds are playing. I'm retired now, so I can do what the hell I want.
Do you like watching a football game more from the stands or the field or the sideline or versus the TV?
It's tough, and I say that to say this because like watching it from the couch, like I can almost diagnose like what offenses are trying to do, as if I'm out there playing, and that's the fun part about it. But when I'm at the game, it's just like I'm here, cheering on my team. I'm still diagnosing, kind of what's going on and what's about to happen. It's funny that you asked that because first play of the Washington game, the NFC Championship game, I was sitting next to my girl, right? And I said, man, this is weird. They're coming out in trips in a tight formation. I said, this ball is going outside. If they put somebody in motion, I said this ball is probably a toss going outside, and like it was 100% toss outside. Saquon made a play. All the guys made a block, and I was just like, yeah, I should coach one day. And she was like, yeah, you're just wasting talent over here.
Well, I mean, before I ask you about coaching, I mean, I know a lot of guys like to get into that space. Let's just first start off with the main thing here. How are you feeling after the Eagles dominated the Chiefs on Sunday?
Listen, had I been on this podcast last week, I would have said my prediction, and I told everybody all week that the Eagles would win by a lot, and nobody believed me. And I'm getting text messages, and everybody was like, "Oh, you were so right." I was like, they were like, he was playing Patrick Mahomes. I said, nobody right now, as of now, can stop this Eagles team. And I said, they're going to stop Saquon and somebody else going to be the heroes of the game. And I said, and then they was like, oh, no, we got to give him the ball. I was like, they're going to give him the ball. They're going to stop him. But it's going to be other heroes that hasn't been heroes all season that's going to help win this game.
I would have believed you. I was right there with you. I would say me and Justin, we both said the Eagles gonna win this game. It's not gonna be close.
But speaking of the D-line, everyone talked about the Chiefs. Everyone talked about Mahomes. What did you love the most about the D-line's performance? Is there any guys you want to highlight or anything like that?
You know what I loved about the D-line? Like that was like my type of game. I think they zero blitzes, right? I don't think he blitzed once. And in a game like that, when a DC, when I played for like Jim Swartz, and he wouldn't blitz, I would go to the game, and we have a dominant game. I would go to the sideline and hug him. Like that's the kind of game that you love to be a part of because the offense don't know. They're not blitzing. All right, it's 4 against 5. Figure it out. Double team the best player inside, chip the best player outside. You still got guys with one-on-ones. Like all those guys like had a great game. Like I was looking forward to it. Jalen, obviously, we know they was gonna slide to Jalen, but Josh Sweat had a dominant game. Like he put a stamp on it for sure. Nolan was rushing his butt off, caused a lot of stuff. BG got come back from a crazy surgery, plays in the game, maybe his final game. Haven't heard yet, haven't said yet, but like all the guys, everybody had a dominant game. Jordan out there flying around. I mean, it was fine to watch as a D lineman.
I was an offensive lineman. I had to go against this Eagles defensive line throughout my entire career. What's the mentality of the Philadelphia Eagles as an organization? How does that kind of trickle down into the D-line? I feel like it's a culture thing in Philadelphia. We're going to have, like you said, 12 dogs on the defensive line. How does that start from Howie on down?
It starts with Howie, obviously, from the top to bottom. But the biggest thing in our room is we got 2 things. No crush, no rush. So if you don't crush the run, you ain't rushing the quarterback. Like, it's that simple. And that mentality, you got to have it. Like, it don't matter. Like, we love putting teams behind the sticks. When you get them behind the sticks on second down, they ain't used to it. And, like, that's the mentality there. They draft all the talent, O-line, D-line there, and it's one man, one for all, no crush, no rush.
No, man. D lineman, you guys are the worst. You're always getting sacks, celebrations. I got to deal with you guys all the time. But it's always a good competition. There's a guy that you mentioned in there that I really want to talk about, and that's Brandon Graham. You guys came into the league. You played together for over 12 years. How happy are you for BG? And give us any good BG stories that you have for us.
Man, it's a lot of BG stories. You already know it's a lot of stories of BG out there. I mean, obviously, he was my locker mate for 12 years. And, when I first got drafted, I was right beside him, and he was going through it. And at the point, as a young guy, and he had already been there for a couple of years, and I didn't understand what he was going through and why he was going through it. And he just told me always, man, just stay strong. Like, don't let none of the distractions, like, get to you. He said, I'm going through it right now. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, at the time, everybody was calling him a bust. They should have drafted Earl Thomas. Like he got hurt and all that, and he was going through it. It was ups and downs and all that. And I told him what I told BG, and I still tell him to this day. And I'm gonna be myself, and I just tell him, some people go do your thing. And from that day forward, like he was like, man, you know what, Fletch, you right. I need to go do what I need to do. I don't need to worry about anything else. And like we kicked it off from there. And like our relationship will be forever. We won many games together. We lost many games together. We've been in bad situations where I had to talk to him, he had to talk to me, and we just get through it. And that's our relationship. Like we're champs together. We'll go down as, we'll go and Philly legends together. He retired nigga, I retired nigga. Didn't never play for another team, never took a snap from another team. So it's really what's important to the both of us.
No, I remember that because we're going against you guys in New York, and I'm out there playing right tackle. And I remember going against BG when he was rotating in and they were giving him all that slack. And I'm like, I remember every time he would come out, the juice he still played with. And I remember thinking, I'm like, they should play this guy more. Like, why is he not playing over some of the other guys that are playing? Because he does bring the juice. Brandon Graham talks more smack than anybody on the football field, too. I don't know. You also love to talk smack. You had the tinted visor on. You see your teeth going crazy. But I'm going to go to the other side real quick. Josh Sweat. How proud are you of Josh Sweat and what he was able to accomplish in this game? 2.5 sacks. I mean, I saw this just every single play. He was dominant.
No, it was good though, man. It was really good. And I got to talk. I ain't talked to him yet, but once the smoke clears, I'll text him and congratulate him because I know his phone is like probably going crazy. But the biggest thing is I'm so happy for Josh to go out and have a dominant performance the way that he did during that game because he's been there before. He's lost one. He's been to a Super Bowl where he played in one, lost the last few seconds, and then now like coming out dominating, know what it's going to take to win one, and you just can't be more proud of Josh than that. Josh is my boy, so kudos to him and his dominant performance for sure.
How did it feel watching this one? Obviously, like you've done nothing but play football your entire life up until this season, and to see the team go on this run, was there any point during the season where you're like, "Hey, Howie, maybe I come back and go on this run with you"?
No point at all. There was no point. It was in me getting the itch to come back. People jokingly, people always see getting the itch to come back, and I say I just like stretch my shoulder or something. I said if I get itchy, I'll just stretch it with my hand, But I felt like I made the right decision at the right time, and I saw this team, develop from 2-2 to where they are now, Super Bowl champs. Right? There was no time where I thought about it. If I wanted to, I probably could have, but nah, I felt like I gave the game all I had to give during the time I was there.
You definitely did. I mean, and talking about someone who gave everything and left it all on the field, Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts. This is the second time that he's been to the Super Bowl, the second time he's played better than Patrick Mahomes. What is it about the big game that really gets Jalen Hurts going?
He just keep the main thing, honestly. He just stay focused on what he got to do. And the guys around him that's there to protect him and help each other reach success. I've been around him in the locker room for a couple of years, and that's all you can respect about him.
Everyone always talks about how Jalen Hurts responds to people in like Instagram captions. Is that like really him throughout the locker room, off camera, or is that like that's how he was learned to be able to be media trained? He just like let me just respond vaguely and seamlessly.
So here the deal is, I'll give you a couple words. What you see is what you get. And that's him. Like whatever you see with him is what you get from him. And he's like a good dude to have a conversation with, like in the locker room and just joking around. But like I don't think he does it on purpose. It's just who he is and how he was raised. I don't think it's any media training. I don't think it's in anything like he's playing in the back of his head before he goes up to talk to the media. It's just vaguely like him. That's how he responds to just about everything.
Is that part? I mean, like he's not publicizing himself. He's not saying how great he is. Why do you think Jalen doesn't get some of the same recognition as some of the other elite quarterbacks? Obviously, MVP, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow.
I mean, the game. The game is it's self-centered. It can be self-centered. I'm sorry. And the way that Jalen makes himself is he's around so many great players at so many great positions, right? At every position he's around, surrounded by everybody. He got what Pro Bowl O lineman, All Pros. Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon, All Pros, AJ Brown, Vontae Smith, Smitty, Dallas, who people don't talk about enough. And he makes it about everybody. He never makes it about himself, which I'm not saying that all of those other guys do. But, I mean, it's the city of Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? And Jalen, he's not a first-round pick. He's one of those guys that's second-round pick that's finding his way through the NFL, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion. So he's just going to take it with a grain of salt, and I think that's part of his motivation of, not keeping the distraction, not letting distractions get to him. Just go be yourself.
So with that Super Bowl under his belt and that Super Bowl MVP attached to his name, what do you think that now ranks him amongst today's current top quarterbacks?
He's the best quarterback in the league right now. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's a Super Bowl MVP. So, he's the best quarterback in the league. I don't think that's arguable right now until next year, right? Until next Super Bowl.
Until
right?
it gets posted and we see what the comments got to say, because they gonna come.
Yeah. Oh, they can come. He's the best quarterback in the league. I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion, winning quarterback. Let's put that out there. So what other quarterback do you think is better than him right now? Because the rest of them are sitting at home on the couch. So we ain't gonna go there.
All right, comment. You got your prompt. Answer the man's question.
I mean, he
If
does.
not Jalen Hurts, who's the top quarterback right now?
What I will say, the one thing that he can drop on trump card on everybody is he's got a picture of him driving in Disney World right now with confetti and all that going around him because he just won the Super Bowl and he won the MVP. It's going to be very hard to argue those things, but I think that, yeah, exactly. The comments will sound off no matter what, so we'll let them do their thing. We'll let them get after it. Another guy that got a lot of slack this year too, Cox, is Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni was arguing with fans earlier in the season. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. Give us a little bit of the behind the curtain on Nick Sirianni and what this Super Bowl has meant to him and his family.
No, I mean, it's a lot because I think this time, maybe a couple weeks before this time last year, I was questioning saying, and y'all probably go find it, Jeff McClain. I was doing exit meetings and stuff at my locker and stuff like that, and they asked me, "What do I think about Nick Sirianni as a coach? Should he be out?" And I said, "Huh? What are you talking about?" And I called him a clown for even thinking about even firing Nick Sirianni, because the biggest thing about Nick is every year he's been in either playoffs or Super Bowl. And I love playing for Nick. Great coach, and he wear them emotions on his sleeves. And I think the success from what happened this year was when he shaved his head bald. He went bald headed, and then the Eagles went crazy, and all the fans can agree.
All right, so AJ, you heard it here, man. We gotta shave our head if we want the show to blow up, man. We gotta continue. We gotta do whatever it takes.
I'm already halfway there.
See, that's listen, I ain't got but a couple cuts left, so
that's what I'm saying. But the difference is I'm 26. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple more intros in me. It's about to be over with. But look, that's enough about the Eagles, man. Let's move on to the Chiefs. Justin, what you want to start with, man?
I was gonna say, Fletch, did you just miss Andy Reid?
No, he was coaching my first year. Yeah.
All right,
so they drafted me.
Okay, so then Andy well enough. Give me your take on Andy Reid. I know he meant a lot to the city of Philadelphia. I grew up in Philadelphia. They had that dynasty run, and then obviously he moves on and moves over to the Chiefs. Give me some behind the scenes on Andy Reid.
I mean, he just Andy is obviously one of the best coaches that's ever coached football. He's going to go down in definitely the Hall of Fame. He's going to get a gold jacket one day for. But he changed my life. Obviously, drafted me, trading up for me. Actually, they traded up to get me, changed my life, my entire family's life, and I wouldn't be where I am today without him, them drafting me and me having a successful career and playing at a high level for a long time. But the insides of him just it is what it is. You're gonna practice hard, you're gonna play hard. It don't matter. He's gonna call you out when he wants you to be better. It don't matter how much money you make. Which you gotta love about that, calling out the key players. And then when you're wrong, and when you're right, you're right. And that's the thing that I love playing for him about. Every time I see him, obviously I give him a big hug and thank him. So hats off to, Coach Reid.
I'm done with that. You saw the end of his career in Philadelphia. Is the Chiefs run over? Andy's starting to get up there in age. Kelsey, they talk about him retiring. Is the Chiefs run over?
Nah, they still play. They still got a lot of great players. They still got so many great players, especially like up front. I think you got, Thuney and Trey Smith who plays at a high level, and the left-handed snapper?
Creed Humphrey.
Creed Humphrey. And those guys still playing at a high level. So, I mean, those three inside guys. That's basically you build your offense around. And you got this Worthy, who's going to keep dominating and doing whatever he needs to do. Down the field. Mahomes is still at a high level. Isaiah Pacheco. That team is still young / got some years. But I mean, you got to bring. I don't think their run is never over. I think they'll still win their division. They'll still be in the playoffs. But I wouldn't count them out.
I'm going to say they're probably going to go get some offensive linemen in left. They're probably going to go get a left tackle in free agency to protect Mahomes' blind side. How does this loss affect Mahomes' legacy?
It don't. I don't think that it affects his. I mean, the guy been to 5 Super Bowls. I mean, that's like we have players that's played in the league for 8, 15 years that's never been to a playoff game.
I've been to 2 playoff games in 11 years.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I can take a respectful gold jacket Joe Thomas, who played in Cleveland his entire career and never went to a playoff game. And I think I'm right about that.
I think you are, yeah.
Yeah, no, like a guy that's got a gold jacket, but there's so many players that's never ever been to the playoffs. So that definitely can hurt his legacy. 5 Super Bowls, it'll be 5 AFC championships. How many division wins, so like, no, I'm not taking in on that.
Can Mahomes overtake Brady?
No. Like, there's no, like, we ain't doing that.
You're asking your dad who's better, Jordan or LeBron. Come on, bro. Like, he played firsthand against Tom Brady. We know this.
And he played against Mahomes. He's seen them both.
Yeah, but he really played against Brady, bro.
Yeah, I really, really played against Brady, yeah.
Come on, I mean, he's seen
Brady.
Brady.
People are talking about it, but I now know that conversation is definitely it's not going to be happening. Brady probably was a little bit happy while he was announcing the show or announcing the game. He was like, yeah, he's giving compliments. Deep down, he's like, they know it.
You ain't Thomas. You're not Thomas. But look, a lot of us out there, all 3 of us.
Hold on, did you call him Thomas?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that last stretch, he moved on to Thomas. That's why I said you really played against Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he went through the Tom Brady, the TB12, and then Thomas Brady. Those are his 3. Those was his 3 careers right there. And, like, look at the numbers. He played 3 careers, bro. He really did.
Listen, I respect it.
His tenure, his stretches. He played he played 3 careers. But look, all 3 of us on this screen had the Eagles to win. But I don't think anyone expected them to win the way they did. So how surprised were you that the Chiefs came out and got dominated the way they did?
Listen, I was not surprised at all.
At all.
Because at all. I told friends, I got screenshots of me telling friends, like, hey, listen, what do you think about the game? And I tell everybody, I was telling them it won't be close. And they was like, no way. And I was telling them, it will not be close.
But look, a close and what happened is 2 different outcomes. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be close either, but I'm thinking they're going to, dig over here, post over here, go ball over there, maybe have to settle for a field goal. I mean, they couldn't get anything rolling.
I was worried about one thing because in the NFC Championship, we struggled with one thing. Only thing I was worried about was us covering. We struggled to cover Zach in the NFC Championship. He had kind of had his way with us. And I was worried about us covering 87. Other than everybody else, like, I wasn't worried. Because the proof is in the pudding. In the NFC Championship, go watch it. The game, go watch it. We struggled to cover Zach Ertz.
Hey, maybe you guys are just like, hey, Ertz, this is like our little parting gift. Ertz is my guy. When we came over from Philly, he was living in my house, and I had to kick him out. He was cooking eggs and toast. He wouldn't leave. But speaking of tight ends, speaking of 87, you're talking about Travis Kelce. That could be a guy that they're talking about potentially being done. You think we saw our last Travis Kelce game?
I don't think so. He may be. He probably want to end on that note. I bet you he don't. I think he probably want to come back and probably and get his get that next that other ring. But it's not a three-peat, so he'll be starting back over.
He's got to see how much money he probably can make outside of football. I just don't know how long he wants to do it for. He's got some crazy offers. Seems like Jason Kelsey's got every commercial under the sun out there right now. So Trav is probably taking less money to play football right now.
Probably, you never know. But they are on every TV show, every commercial. Like they're, I'm actually happy for Jason because he's come out of that shell and showing his personality. So I ran into him in this weekend, and he was just hanging out, being Kels with his what is it? Those Monarchs, the Nikes. He was just chilling with jeans on. So dad jeans to be exact.
Yeah, he don't care at all. With these two teams playing 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years, are we now considering this the biggest rivalry in the NFL?
No, I wouldn't go there. One of the biggest rivalries for the Eagles. You know who that is?
Cowboys.
And there you go. Like, yeah, we ain't. No, I don't think the rivalry is. I think their biggest rivalries happens like during the season, like your divisional opponent that you just can't stand. You just want to beat their brains out.
There is one guy, before we let you go, I got to ask you about, and he came over from the New York Giants, from a division rival, and that's Saquon Barkley. What has he meant to this team, this city? What energy has he brought to this organization?
Man, I think it's just what's crazy. I think it's what we've been missing since Shady left. I mean, we had a good run with running backs. We had Miles that took us to a Super Bowl, but Saquon is just different. And what he's brought to the team, to the whole organization, is a lot of energy, a lot of respect. I talk to people around the building about him. Just ask him about him, like how he is as a guy. And obviously everybody thinks the world of him, not just because of how good he is, but how good he treats the people in the building. And that NovaCare complex, when you treat everybody in the building how you want to be treated, you can be there for a long time. And you're talking to a guy that was there for 12 years. It don't matter if it's T. Roy or Keisha in the cafeteria or Stroh in the media or Greg or Peter, in the equipment room, or Craig. Like, it don't matter.
What about Big Dom?
Oh, yeah.
Big Dom gonna do his thing. He the one gonna check you. But I mean, it literally don't matter. Like, you treat him how you want to be treated, and then you can be there for a long time.
We told you about our predictions. Give us the way too early Super Bowl prediction for next year.
I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna run it back.
Eagles Chiefs.
I'm gonna go Eagles Commanders in the NFC Championship. Eagles 1 seed. Commanders will be there, and I'm AFC. I'm going Bills, Ravens, and Josh Allen. I feel like Josh Allen get it done. So I'm going with a Eagles Bills Super Bowl next year.
Oh man.
That would be the craziest fan bases going head to head against each other. It would be absolute mayhem. San Francisco wouldn't know what. It's in San Francisco next year.
San Francisco
will be burned to the ground if those two fan bases are out there.
And that's why I went there, like fan wise. That's why I went there. I'm going the craziest fan base versus the craziest fan base. Like, they're going to be
battle of the chance right there, man.
That's going to be like, I don't know if y'all saw, they're going to be trash cans on fire. They said somebody like went into like a hotel and took all the towels out on Sunday night and put it in a trash can and burned it. Like, they was taking like light poles, like red lights. They were unbolting them and carrying them down Broad Street.
No, I love it, Fletch. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the years, all the battles. Thanks for coming on the show. Congratulations to your Philadelphia Eagles on winning the Super Bowl. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Go Birds.
Sure, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Jay.
This halftime show was underwhelming. I was really thoroughly, genuinely upset. I mean, in the stadium, they gave us all little wrist lights for everything to be synced up. I took it off. I was so upset.
Before or during the show, did you take it off?
About 2 songs in, I took it off. Couldn't believe it. I was thoroughly up. Actually, I'm lying. Once he said, "Everybody, my name is K. Dot, Kendrick Lamar." Once I realized he was wrapping it up, I took it off and I spiked it. I was thoroughly upset. When people was doing the whole Lil Wayne should have got it, Boosie should have got it, I understood it, but I respected that Kendrick got it. Why? Because I thought he was going to come out and really rock. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of clips on TikTok. Everyone's saying how the stands were dead. They were dead. I was
Dead.
one of them. I was sitting there like, for half the show, I was like this. I mean, I'm lying. I was still Snapchatting because everyone wanted to be there, but I was sitting there like, are we kidding? Bro, I mean, I feel like he came out. Listen, he had swimming pools he could have dropped. He had Mad City he could have dropped. He had Humble he could have dropped. There were so many alternatives that he could have came out and had the stands rocking. I mean, all he had to if Pyros and Crips all got along. Like, why would you not come out? Yeah, 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 yeah. What are we doing?
He left some money on the table, man. He left some money on the table for sure. But I think it was more than that. I think everything was like, I think this whole Drake Kendrick beef, the whole show was growing towards that. Like everything was like, everything he did almost didn't matter until he got to that last piece where he was going to go after Drake because everyone said, don't do it, don't do it. I know I saw some clips where, he said it all and the NFL reposted it. I think that became more of the storyline than the actual performance itself. And that's where I'll be like, I wish it was more about the music, the performance, the game, not the beef carrying over into 300 million people watch or 150 million people watching it. Because the whole time everyone's like, well, what's this whole beef about? And that's what it became more than the music, right?
You knew that's why he got it. But it's like, even that, bro, he did a song with Drake, bro. He could have at least came in with that one. Poetic justice. If I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? And then cut off and be like, as a matter of fact, no, I wouldn't trust it. Like, it's like if you wanted to keep tying the beef and do a song you got with Drake, and then when his part come up, be like, nah. You know, like, come on, like, what are we doing? I just feel like I feel like he dropped the ball. I feel like there was so many.
But I also feel like that's a little bit like they could have brought Wayne in. Maybe because Wayne wasn't the star of the show. Imagine if they brought Wayne in midway through.
Boosie would have blew the roof off the Superdome. I promise you. I'm in a boot when I was stood up and started dancing to some Boosie.
And I'm not like hating on who they brought in. SZA is like, she's great. She got great songs, but it didn't like, it almost felt like you needed another star on that level. Like you needed, like, not that she's not on, like in New Orleans, she's not on Wayne or Boosie's level. So I'm with you 100%. I thought it was cool, the whole American flag, Samuel L. Jackson. Like, I think there was more to it. It was more of like an artist, like an artist's expression of like how he felt. But I think it went over a lot of people's head because a lot of people are just tuning in to be entertained. And that I think that he definitely could have played a lot of his hits because I'm like, I don't know that one. Oh, I didn't know that one.
See, and I didn't want to say it because I felt like if I would have said I don't know this song, people would be like, "Oh, well, you're not a real Kendrick fan." Well, shut up. I never said I was. He has bangers out there and dropped the ball. That's like Lil Wayne going out there not playing 6 foot, 7 foot, not playing on Millie. Like, come on, bro. That's Boosie going out there not playing Wipe Me Down.
Man. I mean, the No Ceilings mixtape. My freshman year of college and sophomore year of college, that's all that was played. When you heard that, lights it up, you knew what was coming. And I'm also Team Drake, just to put that out there as well. Like I think Drake would have put on a better halftime show. Just saying.
He would have came out and played his bangers. I don't know. That's my only. That's it. And I needed to get that out because a lot of people was asking me all of my DMs. Yo, how'd you feel about the show? I'm talking to y'all. If everyone else in my DMs, this clip is for you. Word. Comment some of y'all takes on some offseason moves that some teams should take. I really want to hear them. I'm probably gonna respond to a couple of them in the video.
Also, give us your prediction. The too soon Super Bowl prediction for 2026 next year in San Francisco. Who are the two teams that are going to be playing and the halftime show?
I don't know. Y'all got a lot of work to do in the comments, man. Because I need y'all to let us know who's going to be some next guests y'all want to see coming up. Let me know. Tag them in the comments. Tag me in the DMs. Let me know. Yeah, and we out of here, y'all boys. Stay beautiful.